The Hawaii Sports Radio Network on 95.1 FM and AM 760 presents Wake Up in the Den with Kailua Kahuku.
Good morning, beautiful people. It's Wake Up in the Den. I'm Kailua Kahuku alongside Paul Brackton. You're listening and watching on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, hawaiisportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel. Thank you guys for joining us and hanging out with us this and every weekday morning from 8 to 10. We appreciate all of you guys that do. And if you want to get in on the conversation, feel free to chime in on the YouTube chat as we see right now and text us at 808-888-KG1. That's 808-888-5481 if you do want to get in on the conversation. But again, we are going to have a fun one today. We are partying and celebrating. And those of you who are not watching, you can hear the pom-poms in the mic. Woo! It is another party. We do have Pom-Pom Paul out there as well. It is a party up in here. It's a party. 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 Tomorrow we can actually play the song when we don't have it on YouTube. I did it so well there. We might get still copyright strike.
Copyright struck right away.
No, but
immediately. It
feels like quite the party here on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network. And for all of you Hawaii fans, and it was just a clean sweep across the board, undefeated. And it is crazy because you were just waiting for, and UH men's basketball was the last one to go to top off what would hopefully be this undefeated weekend. And they did. So the UH men's basketball team opening up their home slate, the first game of a long streak of home games that you guys will have to check out. This really exciting Rainbow Warrior basketball team beating East Texas A&M 100-74. So got put out a 100 burger last night. Very entertaining for the fans. A little streaky here and there. We'll talk about more of the details coming up, but that was the cherry on top of a magnificent undefeated weekend. Like, I don't even know when we were able or allowed to feel this way. Like, we've had our parties in here before for UH football, but there were times when, one of the other teams lost, or obviously our NFL teams, considering that Paul and I are fans of teams that don't do very well. Usually our NFL team loses, but man, oh man, you guys, from women's volleyball on Friday, and then you had football obviously on Saturday, and then you had the NFL slate in which Paul's team in the Jets, my team in the Bears, Michael's team in the Rams, and I see Colin chiming in there, the Chargers, they all won on NFL Sunday, and then women's volleyball won again, so got the 2 wins at home here for the Rainbow Wahine volleyball team, and that puts them in that last, that 6th spot in the Big West. Still a long way to go, but at least they are keeping their Big West tournament championship hopes alive for the Rainbow Wahine volleyball team, so they were able to win. And then the men's basketball team, like I said, cherry on top of a winning weekend, able to crush East Texas A&M 100-74. Paul, oh my goodness, what a nice weekend.
And our friends at HPU won their exhibition as well.
Yeah.
So we just want to throw something else on there. It was quite literally as good a weekend as you could have asked for. I joked with you, even my Knicks made a nice easy win yesterday, so they knew I was going to have a long day, late night obviously at the stand celebrating what was a very fun Rainbow Warrior basketball team. Just an incredible weekend, and obviously the ladies set the tone. The Rainbow Wahine set the tone with a dominant sweep over CSUN to get the weekend started. Timmy's team was, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But holy cow, Timmy Chang take a bow, Micah Alejado, all the entire team take a bow after this weekend's performance, and then it felt greedy to ask for anything more. We went into Sunday and we're like, not only did we beat San Diego State, you dominated them, somebody's probably going to lose today. Then the Jets won. And I was like, oh boy. And then the Bears won. I was like, oh no. And the Rainbow Wahine won. And then I joked, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry for the men's basketball team.
We all joked about it. And then
it's all done.
Oh yeah, and then Michael found a little charger, or not charger,
his
but our little tripod because he had lost it. And he's like, guys, that was probably like right when tip off was happening. He said, I found it. I'm sorry for the men's basketball team that's gonna lose, because we never have this perfect weekend. That's why it was just so eerie.
Something's always got to go wrong.
There was going to be something that was going to potentially dampen this Hawaii party on a Monday morning, and they just kept going.
And to be fair, early on, it did look like it was going to be a slog of a game. Sorry for anyone on the continent who stayed up, because the earliest this game tipped off on the continent was 11 p.m. on the West Coast. So, and I hope you enjoy free throws, because there were a lot of them. But overall, eventually hitting their stride and putting, like you said, the cherry on top of what was a really, really fun weekend of sports. I'm like almost speechless. I'm still trying to piece together all of my thoughts today.
Same.
Just because it's not just that they won, right? Because obviously we love winning, celebration time, blah, blah, blah. It's the manner in which they won, and every single one of them, too. Because you look, I mentioned it, the Rainbow Wahine, both of they lost one set all weekend, and realistically, that was just kind of a blip on the radar, because all of the others were dominant sets in their favor. Timmy's team with the biggest win ever over San Diego State. Hawaii men's basketball puts up 100 points for the first time in 8 years. It's like an historic weekend in so many different ways. And as you mentioned, with those Rainbow Wahine victories, they vaulted themselves right back into prime position to have a fighter's chance, a puncher's chance to make it into the Big West tournament. And I'm sure the last thing anybody else in this conference wants to see is a Rainbow Wahine team playing their best volleyball at the end of the year. And that's what Robin and her group look like they're doing right now.
And that's what really matters. And I don't want to forget this squad, because I'm just looking at HawaiiAthletics.com, so make sure you check them out to keep up with all of the sports as well. But I want to give a shout out to men's tennis. They also had some matches. They concluded the Hawaii Fall Invitational yesterday. Now, it has been wet and rainy during the weekend, as you guys saw, so they were only able to compete in singles against Air Force yesterday, but they were dominant as well, winning 5 out of their 7 matches against the Falcons. So shout out to men's tennis, also winning. So even some of these other sports, and I wanted to make sure, are we missing anybody? I know softball was playing over the weekend
had an
as
exhibition.
well. So there was just a really fun, really wet weather. Huge shout out to all of you guys that were out and braving the constant rain at the Ching for that football game, though. There were still a good handful of you guys there with your ponchos. Some of you not even with the ponchos, because the game was so exciting that you just braved it and you were cheering so loud. And I think those fans that really braved the rain out there, because we're lucky. We're under the comfort of the shade, or not the shade, but just covering. Shout out to our Michael Liscarroll, too, who was braving the rain with the fans and all the other photogs and camera people and all of the media that were out there that had to brave the rain as well. But the fans, man, the ones that stayed. And remember when this whole season started?
Even the ones that didn't.
Yeah,
there were 13,000 people that showed up, and this game was raining from the start to way after the finish.
I don't recall a game ever being that consistent in terms of rain. We've had the downpour and then it stops.
Happens.
The sky's open for a little bit, it stops. We have a little bit of a drizzle in and out, but I don't remember it being this. Fortunately, it was just a consistent drizzle and not a consistent downpour, but nonetheless, it was the entire game that was raining. A little bit more than Manoa missed. But it was weird because, like I said, it was kind of a drizzle. It just never ever stopped the entire game, and I don't remember another time that it was ever like that in Ching, where it was that constant and consistent. But I tell you what, man, those Rainbow Warriors, they were playing like it was completely dry and perfect, 85-degree weather, because 38 points, putting up all those yards, all those touchdowns, another 3-burger to Jackson Harris. And where you're looking at it, where we were talking about Lucky Sutton last week, the running back for San Diego State and their running game. And usually when it's a rainy game, and traditionally in football, the team that is the better running team will tend to do a little bit better, because sometimes it gets more difficult to start passing around the pigskin in the rain. But the Rainbow Warriors did not look like that whatsoever, especially the fact that they were able to kind of recover after that really disappointing opening drive for the Rainbow Warriors, right? Got a sack for a 10-yard loss of a sack, and then the interception. And then next thing you know, it's like, oh, whoo, we're awake now. Boom. Let's just take it to San Diego State. And my, oh my, what an incredible weekend. But again, shout out to everybody that braved the rain. And what a good thing, too, that if they did have to leave, because I know it can be difficult, too, if you're bringing your entire family with the kids, right, all that stuff, but they could just go home and watch it in the comfort of their home as well. And I think that's really exciting. And what a season it's been so far. And it's not pow yet, to take the words from Coach Bud.
No, not even close. It's so nice to see, because we've talked about it, the work that these guys have put in. There are a lot of players who have gone through a lot of losing. There have been a lot of coaches who have gone through a lot of losing and a lot of learning lessons and growing pains and all of the things. And I thought that they just made a total statement in this game in all three phases, where, like you said, even despite a poor start, which is something that we've seen from the Rainbow Warriors this season. I don't need to remind people, but we go back to the Stanford game and just how horrible that start was. And this team has a tendency to pull themselves up by the bootstraps and out of the mud. And it was a great performance. Like you said, I was a little bit worried once the rain continued, just knowing that Hawaii is so potent offensively when they go to the air. Didn't matter. Like you said, it may as well have been dry out there. It looked like they were a bunch of kids playing in the backyard once again, and it was such an impressive performance. We'll break it all down coming on up, but the flowers that you continue to see this program get on social media, in the media, and just from fans in general, very much so deserved, especially after this performance coming off of a real clunker against San Jose State.
Mm-hmm. All right. Before we go to break, like I said, we'll get into the real dissection of that San Diego State game coming up in the next segment, and then we'll also let you hear a little bit of the post game from head coach Timmy Chang. But before we go to break, I want to give one more shout out though to everybody that was able to bring any type of non-perishable food items to the food drive that the University of Hawai'i held over the weekend, right? And all those games, whether it be football or the ones at the stand, if you brought non-perishable food items, thank you very much for supporting your community, and give yourself a self-hug, and mahalo to everybody for contributing to that. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back to really talk about that game between the Rainbow Warriors and the Aztecs, in Hawaii coming out with a 38-6 win over the weekend. We'll be right back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Stop. Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den. Ku'ulei Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network and streaming live on our YouTube channel. Thank you guys for hanging out and tuning in this and every Monday morning where we are live on YouTube. But that's right, I should probably start promoting that. Next week, this football season is flying by that I completely forgot that, hey, we're supposed to be in Las Vegas next week. So
True.
Next week, Monday, no, we'll still do a live stream on Monday. But hey, congratulations to Caesar and all the people that have asked us for so long. We will be live every day next week. Woohoo! Woo! So just for you guys, we were live from Circa Resort and Casino. I haven't decided yet if I want to brave potentially the cold, because last time we went, it was early September,
right?
2 years ago, because they had to move the game up because of F1. Now the traditional Hawaii at UNLV is during the November time when it gets pretty cold. So Kyle said, no matter how cold it is, he is still going to effort trying to go into the pool.
His call. And
like broadcast from the pool, but I don't know if you'll be joining him. I will not. As a true Hawaii girl, I will not. I mean, the pools are heated, but it's how cold you are when you get out of the pool.
It's when you get out of the pool and you no longer have the heated water protecting you, and the cold air touches your skin that is now wet, and it's just not a great time in general. I recommend not going in the pool if it's going to be cold.
But I will support Kyle for doing it.
100%.
But yes, we will be live every single day, barring anything going crazy. But usually they get pretty internet there at Circa. So we will be live. Myself and Kyle Goldera will be there broadcasting from Circa and live on our YouTube channel. And of course, you guys can hear us here. I think it'll be 10 a.m. to noon Vegas time. Yeah. I have to do the 2 hours, right? Is it 2 hours? Well, now?
In Vegas?
Yeah.
I have
or West Coast time. It's
West
Pacific
Coast.
time.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Because it's 5 on the East Coast.
There we go. So we would get there with the math. I don't know. Just get rid of daylight savings already. Let everybody be on Hawaii time, and there you go. No, but we will be broadcasting live all that time. So it'll be really, really cold, and we'll see. Hopefully they have heaters in the cabana, and we'll see. Anyways, getting to now that dominant, did I say dominant? Performance by your Rainbow Warrior football team, 38-6 over, San Diego State. The number one team in the Mountain West. Now, I don't want to take anything away from the major home field advantage because the mana just rained down, like we said, the entire game. And I know San Diego State was not prepared for any of that. But again, the fact that Hawaii, the defense locked in like how we anticipated them to do as well. We were talking about it last week. Like, okay, as much as we as media or fans want to pile on how bad that performance was by the defense against San Jose State, if there's any people that took it harder than us, it were the players and the coaches. And you could tell they wanted that back. They wanted to prove that was that fluke game, that is not who they are. And they went out there on Saturday and really just held down San Diego State. Again, a team that was reliant a lot on the run game. And when it rains, traditionally, the run game does better than the pass game. The defense was like, we are not going to let any of that happen. 6. Held them to 6. While the offense, a passing-heavy offense, put up 38 in rain. I mean, talk about a complete football game from the offense, defense, and special teams. Michael brought this up in the post game, and when we talked to Thomas Sheffield, he mentioned how when it comes to the punt and kick returns, they kind of just, par it. They just want to catch it, fair catch it, make sure it all goes well. They put it all out there. They went for the eagle this time, and it worked out for them. A return for a touchdown by Cam Barfield. I mean, this game had everything. A pick 6 by EP. Jackson Harris, just really proving that, hey, kids, come to the land of opportunity if it's not working out with you at one of these P4 autonomous 4 programs, and having another massive game, taking advantage of them playing man. And he was like, all right, bet. We will show you what this offense and this passing game can do. And they, like I said, just really being able to shake that off, just that awful first drive start, the sack and that interception. But the fact that this team, and we've mentioned it before, Paul, like so many times, that's what makes this team feel different, is that when they do have those rough starts, I mean, it started in the Stanford game, but they just don't even let up. They just are like, all right, short-term memory, go back out there, prove that's not us. And aside from that San Jose State game, this team has just been able to do that. They just wipe it away, and then they go out there and prove that whatever mistake just happened, they fix it right away. And then, like, if we saw that first drive and you told me that they were going to put up 38 points and hold San Diego State to 6, like, what just happened?
It was as impressive a performance as they've had under Timmy Chang. I don't think that's honestly even close to hyperbole to say. Like you said, all three phases contributed to this win, picked each other up. I mean, early on, and when I say picked each other up, I mean, to your point, the defense came out guns blazing, forces a 3-and-out right away, and then right after a bad pick, and I shouldn't say a bad pick, it was a really nice play by the defender, actually.
Yeah.
Had a pretty good view of it, and like he baited Micah into the throw, jumped in front, yada, yada, yada. Good play, blah, blah, blah. Early turnover. Defense, once again, stood on their heads, forced 3-and-out, which, because of the field position, ends up being a field goal instead. But that's a massive change, right? Because if that goes for 7, then all of a sudden it becomes a little bit of a different conversation. That sack on the second drive, do you see the penalty, or does San Diego State play a little bit smarter? Because that's something else that sparked the Rainbow Warriors, was a stupid, stupid taunting penalty after would have forced a punt, and instead you want to stand over a receiver and go like this. This is something that drives me crazy when high schoolers do it, when college players do it, when NFL players do it. You hear me on every broadcast that I'm on. I get on my soapbox and I talk about it. It's stupid. Celebrate with your teammates. You don't need to stand over people. And it ended up, I don't think it's unfair to say, costing San Diego State this game entirely, because Hawaii's offense to that point didn't really know what to do with themselves. Then all of a sudden, bang, 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 right down the field, Jackson Harris, a beautiful over-the-shoulder catch on a beautiful throw from Micah Alejado in the back left of the end zone, and Hawaii's on the board, and we are off and racing. This is a San Diego State team that, entering this weekend, they had given up points in 9 of 32 quarters played. 9 of 32! That's how good this defense was. And they put up 24 in the first half. Jackson Harris dominated them. Now, it should be noted, Chris Johnson, the top corner for San Diego State, did miss this game with an injury. He dressed, but I did not see him end up going onto the field.
Correct.
Very big loss for them. Nonetheless, great on Hawaii to, even though it was raining, despite the elements, know that we've got this trump card. Listen, we hear how good you are defensively. I don't care. We've got this guy named Micah Alejado, and he's got this guy named Jackson Harris, and they're just going to throw it, and they're going to play catch, and you're going to watch them do it. That's just what it is, and that's what it's turned into. Jackson Harris, up to 10 touchdowns on the year. He's been outstanding. It was great. And then not only all of this, right? 24-6 at halftime, a wonderful first half. I mean, before fans are even able to get back into their seats, Hawaii's back in the end zone as Cam Barfield takes it to the house. And to your point about special teams, Koo, I mean, this is a team who all season has been so boring special teams return-wise, but they've been sure-handed. And I think that's part of it, where you go into a night like this and you'd expect them to be even more conservative, even more cautious. And instead, you see the sure hands of Tamu Uliata give you the ability to say, all right, catch it and give us even better field position. Steal extra 8, 9, 10, 15 yards at a time, and let's go put up some points on these guys. And that's what they did, a pick six to put the cherry on top, a full team effort, the best win of the Timmy Chang era. And just like that, Hawaii right back in the Mountain West Championship conversation.
And like we mentioned, and we've been mentioning last week, is Boise and San Diego State, one of them got to knock out the other. So
somebody's losing this week.
We have to see what happens. And Hawaii still does need to make sure they take care of their own destiny by taking care of business at UNLV next week, which that UNLV, whoever's the home team, somehow has like the extra oomph for some reason. So it is going to be interesting. But as we've seen, there has been a lot of firsts this year under head coach Timmy Chang. So maybe they'll put up even more. And the UNLV defense is nowhere near the San Diego State defense. They're actually quite horrible. So I can expect...
I'm worried about a San Jose State game.
Exactly. And like I said, because this particular rivalry, it's really eerie. Like, I swear, it feels like almost every single season, whoever the quote like favorite is on paper,
it's just the host.
The host always seems to take this one like every single time. So they're not going to overlook UNLV whatsoever. And then, like we said, that sneakily good, don't know what to expect Wyoming team that you close out with.
They could play spoiler in a big way. You cannot overlook them.
We don't know what's going to happen. But going back to the San Diego State game, I mean, you mentioned Chris Johnson being out. I think, maybe they would have changed up their offense, but putting up this much Hawaii, there are a chance they would have come up to...
I don't think it would have changed the overall result.
It probably would have just been maybe a different receiver. Maybe Pofele Ashlock would have been getting the football a little bit more, right?
Maybe Jackson Harris doesn't torch you, but you have Nick Senecal, you have Pofele Ashlock. I mean, Brandon White, they finally found something in this game with Brandon White as well, where they got it to him in space and allowed him to use his shiftiness to make defenders miss. That was nice to see, because I don't know if he's really the deep ball threat that we thought he was going to be. It just doesn't seem like he has that same chemistry with Micah that DeKal had last year.
Yeah, and it just is all around like impressive of what they were able to do. But you look at it, another game that they score over 30 points, over 300 yards of total offense,
another
3 touchdowns
from Micah.
So that's why it's like just been so impressive through this game. I mean, you look at some of the, as I mentioned, anything's going to happen against this UNLV team where it's just there's so many firsts for this regime and head coach Timmy Chang, but snapped a 5-game losing streak to San Diego State with its first win over the Aztecs since a 14-11 home victory back in 2019. 32-point win was UH's largest ever against SDSU. Meanwhile, the 38 points scored were the most since a 49-38 win in 2005. 6 points allowed were the least against San Diego State since a 31-6 win in 1980. You guys, San Diego State still leads the overall series, but it doesn't matter. It's just UH's third win in the last 14 meetings and just its fifth in the last 25. The game was just the second in the last 8 to be decided by more than a touchdown. Let's see, the teams met every year since 2012 as members of the Mountain West, with the Aztecs winning 11 of the 14 matchups. And this marks the final meeting, as we know, of them as conference members. But they do have home series in 2028 and 29. So it was incredible. Again, can you believe 5th straight 30-plus point game? The longest of such streak for the program since a 6-game streak spanning the 2010 and 2011 seasons. The longest single-season streak since the 2007 squad scored 30-plus points 9 straight times. 2007, you guys. We all know those years, that era in UH football. And to kind of speak, and there's other records and stuff as well, to kind of speak these comparisons in terms of the numbers and the type of offense that is being put up, and compare it to either 2019, which we bring up a lot too, because it's the most recent era of the glory time under Nick Rolovich, where Hawaii did last go to the Mountain West Conference Championship game. So to compare some of these numbers to the 2019 season, and then all the way back to like that 07, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 era, I mean, you just get chicken skin thinking about it, we're even mentioning those times in the same breath as this time. Because for a long time, it never felt like we were going to get there, right? It just felt so long. And the last few years, and Peter Manuma, to his credit, mentioned it in the post game, where it wasn't built overnight. We've seen the struggles. Peter has been here since the beginning of the Timmy Chang era. A lot of this coaching staff has been here since the beginning of the Timmy Chang era. It wasn't built overnight. It was a struggle. People were already calling for Timmy's job for a certain point, and I was always being like, the fourth year is essentially his third year because of the massive rebuild that he needed to do in year one just to bring back the community as a whole and reset the culture. But are you not entertained now, everybody? Are we not entertained? Because this has been incredible. It's a fun ride. Before we go to break, I want to share actually kind of a funny story, and we'll hear what Timmy Chang had to say in the post game when we come back. But so we're working on a side project,
As one does.
And I am chatting with the person that we're working with for this potential side project.
With said sideshow.
Yeah. And true story, you guys. Because I'm like, well, if they don't make it to the Mountain West Championship game and they don't win, this might change the plans for the project that we're working on, yada, 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 yada. Your girl completely spaced on the fact that, oh, that's right. We play in a Hawaii Bowl and we could win the Hawaii Bowl, which would also be really cool. First time under Timmy Chang. But I completely was, because as we mentioned, it felt like this is the season where the consolation prize now feels like the Hawaii Bowl. And in years past, it's like, oh, we're bowl eligible. Woohoo! Like we go to the Hawaii Bowl. We get a football game in December. Woo! I'm not even exaggerating, you guys. I really did space out and was like, oh, the season is all pal. Like, if we don't make it to the Mountain West Championship game, then, oh, that's a bummer. And it took me like about a minute, and then I texted him back. I was like, oh, wait, no, we could still probably do the project because we'll just change the narrative a little bit because they are going to the Hawaii Bowl if they miss out on the Mountain West Championship, and they could potentially win, which would be cool, and all of this.
Yada, yada,
So
yada.
I completely, because my sights are like so high now for this football, especially after that performance that we saw on Saturday.
There's no reason not to, though. I mean, that's the whole thing. We're talking about partying on Mondays. This is Victory Monday. This is a celebration for a reason, right? You don't win the biggest game of the season and come in and be like, oh, man, that was fun. That's probably the best it's going to get. You don't do that. No, you come in and you say, man, that was awesome. That's the team that we expected to see all year. That's the team that we've come to know and love. This is a team that's been a dark horse contender in the Mountain West all year. They proved it once again, and now with just a little bit of help, and them winning out, all of a sudden, we're talking about a party like it's, 2018 or so? It's a fun time. There's no reason to put a cap on or a ceiling or a roof on what this party is right now, because there's plenty of time to come back down to earth. Mm-hmm. For now, why not celebrate? What was our phrase last week? Shoot for the moon and land amongst the stars. we're amongst the stars right now.
We went past the moon and we're on a star. The reverse. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we'll let you guys hear from what head coach Timmy Chang had to say in the post game on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
All right.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Turn it up loud. I know you're wondering how. I got that wow. Here I go, coming. I can't ever stop.
Welcome back to all of you, the beautifulest of all the beautiful people. It's Wake Up in the Den, Ku'ule Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network and hawaiisportsradio.com, on demand wherever you get your podcasts.
Maybe.
Later. But you can watch on demand at our YouTube channel as we're live right now. Thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out with us. All right. We've been talking about the UH football game, but for all of you guys that maybe have not been able to watch the post game or listen to any of it, we want to make sure we get that out to you. So here is what head coach Timmy Chang had to say following that dominant 38-6 performance over San Diego State. And it just starts with basically how he feels to have the first winning season in a long time. And of course, the first winning season of his tenure.
Yeah, I'm really proud of the guys. I'm proud of the coaches. We've been together now. Some of those guys, those coaches and players have been in it 4 years, some 3, some 2. And especially the guys that have been here 4 years, like as they work and they continue to build, it's all them. They're the ones that are going out there and putting their bodies on the line and doing it for each other and doing it for the school and more importantly doing it for the state. And so just really proud of them, how they're just resilient.
Coach, talk about the offense tonight and how you guys are able to get out of the gates quickly and keep that lead throughout the night. Talk about kind of similar to Steven's question, right? Rebounding from kind of a sluggish start of last week.
Yeah, I think the guys understood the game plan and what we wanted to do, and we just offensive, defensively, and special teams. I think all 3 phases played well and early out the gate, and so it gives an opportunity to get the lead early and really just kind of just build momentum as the game went on.
Coach, talk about your defense tonight. Last week, San Jose State put up a whole bunch of points, bunch of yards. Did they take this one personally this week to put their stamp on it?
Yeah, I think they just had great weeks of practice, and they knew that we left some things out on the field last week, and turning the page and coming into this week, it's the same, right? We get a bye this week, but if another opponent was coming up, we got to quickly turn the page, and as we put our head to bed and wake up, I mean, it's on to the next, and like with talking to Dave about, it's so competitive that you have to be able to turn the page quickly and rebounding and get back to working, and that's exactly what we all did. It wasn't just defense, it was offense, and we felt like we just have to continue to get better, and that's what you're seeing these young men do and this coaching staff.
Hey, Coach Chang, congratulations. San Diego State sacked Micah to start your first 2 drives, and he threw that early pick, and then neither of those things happened again for the rest of the night. Is it something he did, your offense did, Coach Arsenault might have seen, or how did you guys adjust from that point? Yeah,
I think Micah just settled in, and we made him a captain for the first time, and for us to win this game, he's got to play big. He's got to play big, and he understood that. Made an error. With those sacks, we'll go look at it and see what happened. But the kid is he's nails, man. He's nails, and for what he's doing as a freshman, pretty special.
Coach, how do you think your team was able to handle the heavy rain pretty much all throughout the 60 minutes today?
Yeah, those the rain's blessings. Yeah, especially in our culture. And giving back to the land, and we haven't had rain like this in a while, and so those are good things. And you just got to handle them. Football's one of those sports that the only thing it stops for is lightning, and so you got to handle anything that's thrown your way. And I was proud of our guys and just handling their business.
Coach, could you talk a little bit about what makes your defensive line so special? Obviously, they got a lot done tonight. They lead the conference in sacks. Just what makes that group so effective?
Yeah, it starts with DT and the coaches. With Coach Pooh and Coach Reinbold, and then they got good players. We're coaching. They're coaching really good players. The players are bought into each of those rooms and how they're coached and the systems and what they're put in, and those guys go out there and make the plays ultimately. And so, they're doing a great job, and it's got to continue for us to be stout.
Coach, you talk about your coaching staff being together and building something. Your special teams coordinator Thomas Sheffield's been with you for a while. He talks about playing par special teams, but it seems like today you guys kind of took more chances, especially with that kickoff return from Cam Barfield to start the second half.
Yeah, that'll be a birdie, or an eagle, in some cases. But, special teams has to stay solid. The field position battle, and getting the ball back to the offense and making sure all the eligibles are covered and our fundamental and technique shows up. I mean, you can really see a team on how they're performing based on how they're executing on special teams. And so Coach Sheffield does a great job, and so does all the different groups that they put together.
Hey, Coach, talk about Elijah Palmer's impact on the team, kind of having a really quietly good season, leads the team in PBUs, had the pick 6 tonight.
Yeah. Man, that kid is special, man. I mean, talk about a leader, talk about a born natural leader, a man of faith. He's the guy that I know when I don't talk, and he's the one guy that will go out there and address the team almost every day. He goes out there and he works his tail off in the off season. He works his tail off every day. He has an approach to this game that will take him far, not just in football but in life. And we're blessed to really have them. And he made a hell of a play. He takes it personal. He takes it personal, and the kid's a player.
Coach, talk about taking this win and this momentum into the rest of your season, given the goals that this team still has set right towards the end of the year.
Yeah, it's one at a time. Yeah, it's gonna. Our next opponent is in 2 weeks, and a little less than 2 weeks on a Friday night, in Vegas, and they're good. They're really good. And so for us, it's one at a time. These guys got to enjoy themselves, man. They put in so much hard work. I'm very proud of them. But we got to flip the page, and not let any of these, the complacency settle in with our team and our mindset and how we go about our work. So we got to get back to work. But they'll take Sunday and Monday off, and we'll focus on academics and all the rest of the things that we need to get done.
And that was UH football head coach Timmy Chang following last night's 38-6 win over the number 1 team in the Mountain West, that is San Diego State. Like we kept saying, I mean, this game had just about everything, and we keep talking about I think that's what I am so happy and excited for Coach Timmy, for the staff that has been there since the beginning, for the players that have been there since the year one, is that it feels like so many wins this season so far has been, that was the best win. Oh, this has been the best win for Timmy Chang. Oh, this is, and like we were saying,
how many times can we say it? That it's the signature win of the Timmy Chang era.
Yeah.
Because we've said it at least 3 times this season now.
Yeah, because we said it, let's see, Utah State, I remember.
Yeah, that was a huge one.
Air Force was a big one.
There was winning on the road against Air Force, and there's this one. Like those, I mean, realistically, you could probably also say the Stanford game where you beat a P4 opponent to begin the year on national television. Like you said, and like we've said, this has been a year of a lot of firsts, of setting a new bar for Hawaii football, or at least restoring the bar that was once there when Timmy was playing, when Colt was around, even half a decade ago when you had Cole McDonald and all of those boys running around. Like, Hawaii football is used to this. High-scoring offense, hard-hitting defense, a fun product on the field that you're able to go out and root for week in and week out. They've done a phenomenal job to restore that. Now they have 2 weeks, well, 3 weeks, but 2 weeks, 2 games left to really put the cherry on top, the ribbon on this gift of a season that they've given us.
Oh my gosh, that's a weird thing. Like I said, a story I told where I really legitimately, and I joked with you when we kind of were off air there, excuse me, that wow, this is what Boise State fans feel like, where it's Mountain West Championship game or bust. Like that's how I have.
And their men's team being close to losing to HPU.
Yeah. But that's how like my mindset for seeing what we've seen on the consistency. Yes, there was that blip against San Jose State, but for the most part, the consistency that we've seen from this team, where I'm like, that's why in my mind, like they can make it to the Mountain West Championship game and they can compete for Mountain West Championship, whoever they play, even if they are playing at Boise, seeing that Boise's home win streak got snapped as well, and they're not as strong as they've been most recently. But also, this Hawaii team, I don't want to even discredit the fact that, oh, Hawaii can win it because all the other teams are bad. Like, Hawaii, I think this team could have legitimately competed with Boise State last year. Like, that's how good I think they are, and it's kudos, sorry, not sorry, that the other teams aren't as good this year, but I don't want to discount anything that should Hawaii get to the Mountain West Championship game and should they win, I don't want to discount the fact that like, oh, well, you know, Boise's having a down year. Like, no, Hawaii's just really, really good. I won't let anybody make that excuse for anybody else, but it was just kind of funny.
Go out and win it.
It's just funny to think about, like, this is how Boise State fans feel, where you legitimately pencil in that
it's championship or bust.
Your team's going into the Mountain West Championship. And yeah, it's like, and either way, you're at least going every single year. And I'm like, that's what I expect. I forgot about the fact that they can play in the Hawaii Bowl. They've already qualified because in my mind, my sights are set on Hawaii making it into the Mountain West Championship game. Now, if they take care of business and however the numbers work out, then that's going to be a tough one to swallow. But just take care of business and control your own destiny from what you can control at this point, because it's going to. So I don't know. I haven't done the calculations at all. Like, how would it? Who are we rooting for this weekend in terms of Boise or San Diego State? Which one helps us more?
I don't know, to be honest.
Maybe
I think
Boise winning?
I think you can make the case for both. I think I'm rooting personally for Boise, which
I know.
But I think I'm rooting personally for Boise because you have the head-to-head tiebreak over San Diego State. So if they have two losses and you have 2 losses, you'll make it in. But also, I mean, there are a bunch of different combinations that are still there because you also still need another Fresno State loss because Fresno has the tiebreaker over you.
Okay.
There's a whole lot to still be figured out.
Like Colin, I know you're in the YouTube chat, Colin. If you know who we and the fans should be somewhat rooting for during this bye week of Hawaii and how the Mountain West is shaking up to ensure or potentially get as close to Hawaii making in, if they were able to control their destiny and win these next 2 games against UNLV and Wyoming, what scenarios do we need to happen to really slide into that Mountain West Championship game? Okay, we got to take a break. We'll be back to close out hour number 1 on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Ku'ulei Agbayani and Paul Brecht rocking it out here on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network on this Aloha Monday, Victory Monday. We are celebrating so many wins. Of course, that massive one for the UH football team. We'll talk some men's basketball coming up in hour number 2. Volleyball won. Tennis did well, and it's just a party. And all of our favorite NFL teams won. It was just
a good weekend.
It was a phenomenal weekend, one that I don't think we have ever felt before in this studio, because usually, especially in the NFL, it means like one of our teams, whether it's the Bears, Jets, or Rams, tend to lose. We never go undefeated, and to have that on top of all of the UH sports that were in action here at home, to be able to be victorious as well. It was a very, very good weekend, and I'm glad like nothing, not even the rain, was going to dampen this party that we're having this morning. So, but I did want to mention other winners over the weekend, just as we're closing out this hour.
Some other games being played in the rain.
Because the OIA football championships have concluded, and we are heading into the state football tournament. It's wild that we're almost done with the high school football season already. So we mentioned them before, but wanted to share the photo. A shout out to the Roosevelt Rough Riders that were able to win it there against Pro City, 34-14. Again, that was a third straight title for the Rough Riders and Coach Kui. Going over to Division 1, the Kailua Surf Riders. This is the game that we called on Friday night. If you missed it, you can listen to it on demand at hawaiisportsradio.com and see the awesome photos that Michael did as well. But Kailua coming out on top in a very exciting game, 21-19 over Aiea. Shout out to Na'ali'i, though, that they were able to really have a good game plan, keep it close, almost winning after being dominated in the regular season, 42-0. They were almost able to steal that one from Kailua, but nonetheless, the Surf Riders come out victorious. First OIA football championship since 2001, which was a co-championship with Kahuku because it had followed the aftermath of the September 11th attacks. But this is Kailua's first outright championship since 1965, in which it was a three-peat in those years. So shout out to the Surf Riders.
Not just me, Ku.
Me too.
That predates both of my parents.
So it's been a while. It's been a while. So shout out to Kailua there. And of course, in the open division, another team that's kept it shockingly close, Kapolei. The Hurricanes, Zorned almost called it his alma mater, but Kahuku winning their 31st league crown, taking the open division 12-7 over Kapolei. But shout out to the Hurricanes. Well, Zor had mentioned that, if Kapolei could win the OIA, then it's okay but maybe it'll flip.
Yeah,
maybe Kapolei is going to win the state tournament.
I take that every single. If I am Kapolei, I take that every single time.
Let's go. All right, we're gonna take a break, but when we come back, we will get you some of the brackets now that they are out for the state tournament for football. Also, we'll get into, like I said, men's basketball. We'll get back to football, and there's a lot more. Luckily, we have this second hour, so join us on our YouTube party if you can. We'll be right back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den, hour number 2. I'm Ku'ule Agbayani alongside Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, hawaiisportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel. So thank you guys for hanging out with us this and every weekday morning from 8 to 10 and every single Monday on YouTube. But next week, we will be on YouTube every day. Monday will be in studio, and then Tuesday through Friday, Kyle and I will be broadcasting live from Circa Resort and Casino for the Hawaii football versus UNL game week. And Paul is looking like a fashionista here with our Pom Pom Paul party for this Victory Monday.
The entire break.
That looks really good.
The entire
that looks
break.
Really good on you. We're gonna have to take a photo of that at the end. Maybe I'll do like a little for our YouTube photo. Like I'll do like maybe a little pigtails or something on how I can.
we'll get it all dialed up or whatever. It'll be
so
perfect.
For those of you that are just listening, Paul put like the pom pom part that you hold into the top of the headset, so he looks like he has pom pom hair right now, and it looks pretty awesome.
I
like it.
I don't know.
That might have to be your new style every YouTube show.
I always dreamed of having hair like this, and by that I mean not at all, because as you know, I get a haircut anytime I feel hair that starts to tickle my ears. But it's fun to have every once in a while.
Rock and rolling over here. I love it.
Dude, it's fun. We had an awesome weekend. We just spent the entire first hour talking about football. We have so much more to get into, whether it's Rainbow Wahine volleyball, whether it's men's basketball. Why would I not want some fun hair for a fun Monday, you know?
Exactly. All right, we're going to get into men's basketball pretty soon. Again, the Rainbow Warrior basketball team opening up their home slate, first home game of the regular season after falling ever so slightly to Oregon to open up their season. But we'll get into that in just a second. But because we closed out hour number 1 with some high school football, I wanted to make sure we get those brackets for you as they are set, and it begins in a couple of weeks for the HHSAA State Football Championship. So the OIA champ, that is Kahuku, with the number 1 overall seed. It will be Kahuku and Campbell in the first round or in the semifinals, and then Kamehameha Schools, Kapalama and Kapolei in the other semifinal, with the championship game set for Friday, December 5th. In Division 1, the OIA champ Kailua is the 3rd seed. The top seeds and getting the buys into the semifinals are number 1 seed Kapa'a and number 2 seed Konowaina. And the 4 seed in Damien will take on the 5 seed in Baldwin. On the opposite side of the bracket, you have the 3 seed in Kailua versus, yes, it's going to be a rematch. And this is where we'll have this conversation another day, that it'll be a rematch of the championship just based on how the seedings are.
Today?
So it'll be Kailua and Aiea again. Don't ask me why. Send some emails. I did see Luther, by the way. I should have brought that up to him. Like, why do you guys fix the seeding?
What's going on?
So Kailua Aiea winner will take on Konowaina. Damien Baldwin winner will take on Kapa'a. And then in Division 2, getting your first round buys into the semifinals are Kamehameha Schools Maui with the number 1 overall seed and number 2 Waimea. So the first round starting on Friday for this for Division 2 and for Division 1. Pac-5 is the number 4 seed, and they'll play the 5th seed in Kamehameha Schools Hawaii. That winner will play Kamehameha Maui. And then on the other side of the bracket, you have the 3 seed and OIA champ Roosevelt. And yes, same thing, a rematch with Pro City. Again, don't ask me why. We'll have that conversation another day. But that winner goes on to play Waimea. So that is the first look or first hearing of the bracket. You guys can go to hhsa.org to see all of that for yourself as well. All right, let's talk about it, Paul. It's basketball season, and despite some early struggles, as in some of the bunnies just not wanting to fall for the Rainbow Warriors, the free throws, oh my gosh, you guys. Why do you want to stress out this auntie over here? Just getting so... It was just really, really
I had to
frustrating.
stop myself from looking over to where you guys sit for games, because I was like, Ku must be losing her mind right now because of the way that they were shooting free throws. And that was still in the early going when the game was not
It was
in
still
hand.
relatively close. Yeah.
So that's why it was really frustrating early on. It's like, guys.
Shout out to Isaac Johnson. We love a big man that can shoot free throws. So he's finished 7 for 10. But again, he's a big. So sometimes I'm like, I give the bigs a little bit of grace. But he was looking really good shooting his free throws.
And he was mad at himself for missing the 3 in the post game. So I can share that.
Big fish, making a lot of his free throws for a big man. And then the rest, 37 for 54.
Both
from
new records.
The charity stripe. It was very, very frustrating to watch if you guys were watching it. On the other side, East Texas A&M, 22 for 32 of their free throws. But fortunately, that didn't end up mattering down the stretch because Hawaii just dominating down the stretch, 100 to 74, 100 points, you guys. And they were starting to pick it up against some early turnovers that were like not forced. I know Dre Bullock had a really bad one in the beginning. Then he started to find his groove, was starting to do the Dre Bullock things, had a massive dunk down the middle where fans got all excited. A big fish was getting in on the action, huge rebounds. And then all I kept thinking was like, dang it, if he didn't foul out in that Oregon game, because he was just snatching all of those rebounds from the side. And I'm like,
him and Gitas, both, but especially Big Fish. This was the second straight game where Big Fish was, unbelievable in short stretches, and this one a little bit more action than obviously the Oregon game, but still it seems like Hawaii has just been in a couple of games where whistles are a little bit happy early on. So I'm excited to see what type of impact he can have in games where he's allowed to be a little bit more physical. And this was a physical game at a lot of times. Like, I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, there were so many fouls called and every single one was a cheapie. No. These guys were beating the hell out of each other for a good portion of the night. There were also a very good portion of just laughable foul calls throughout the evening.
It was insane. I was getting so frustrated because part of the reason why it gets frustrating when so many fouls are called, and we mentioned this before, is that you don't really get into a flow. Like, basketball is all about flow, and when you're just constantly having to stop, and when you have these two teams who are very athletic, Hawaii clearly wants to push a bit more. I mean, Zay looked, and Isaiah Kerr to be exact, and so people know who I'm talking about, he is really coming on, and he is someone that we didn't talk about as much in the beginning of the season, right? He wasn't one of these bigger transfer guys that were coming in.
D2 guy.
But he looked fun. He looked like he belongs in D1 just fine, just like a Dre Bullock, right? Coming up a level as well. Like, these guys are fitting in just fine because we already knew with a lot of the Utah guys coming in. Unfortunately, we won't see one of the main ones, but it's okay that. But looking at some of these other guys, again, we didn't talk about Isaiah Kerr as much as some of the big time Utah transfers that were coming in, but he looked strong out there, a lot of athleticism, and not afraid to go to the basket whatsoever. So he's going to be someone that I think fans are going to be really excited to see. If you guys haven't watched the first couple of games so far, and then we mentioned Dre Bullock, still looks like he takes a little bit to kind of start feeling himself throughout the game. But again, this is the highest level of basketball that he's played in his career. So once he really starts to get comfortable, and they have a long stretch to get comfortable in playing games in the stand, we're really going to start to see this team turn up. There was a ton of different rotations that we saw in the game as expected. No idea what I did like the starting lineup. I did like some of the other looks that they had in there. So this team is still in the figuring it out mode, still figuring out each other, figuring out what their main rotation is going to be. But I think from what we have seen so far, and that's why I don't want fans to get a little discouraged by kind of the chaos that we see at times, because you can tell that they are trying different things and different looks, as they should, especially if you're playing a team that you know you're better than, and then you can clearly dominate like they did down the stretch. But a lot of the different rotations that we saw and the different individual skills from each of these players in what will likely be the ones and twos, it's really exciting to watch. And we asked one of our other regular basketball buddies that we kind of built up this team to, like, oh, this team is going to be exciting.
Todd Gurley?
Not Todd Gurley. Yeah, Todd Gurley's my bestie now. But we had asked, because before the game, he had asked us, all right, I'm going to see this team that you guys have been telling us is going to, be like so exciting to watch. And he's a huge supporter. He wasn't really saying it in a negative way.
Right.
He just was like, you guys have been building it us. And after the game, first thing I asked him was like, so you like what you see? And he's like, Yeah. So that's really exciting for fans.
It is. And I said this before. The best part is this isn't even close to the best that they can play.
Exactly.
I mean, like you said, some uncharacteristic turnovers early on, just kind of awkward in the beginning. And that's to be expected. You have 8 new faces now trying to get acclimated to a roster in a place that's very, very far away from where they've ever been. And I thought that they turned it on. I mean, they scored 67 points over the final 23 minutes of this game after scoring just 33 over the first 17 minutes. Like, they were unbelievable once they found their rhythm. And funny enough, they found their rhythm when there stopped being a foul called on every trip up and down the floor. But even so, this is a team who at one point in this game was shooting below 30% from the floor, was shooting pretty poorly from long distance, was not good from the free throw line. And they end the night shooting nearly above 50% from the field. They shoot above or near 50% from the three-point arc on pretty good volume. And Hunter Erickson said it to us in the postgame where he's like, I still think we can shoot better. Like, I've seen the way we shoot in practice, and like even tonight isn't really scratching what we can do. And I keep emphasizing this. They put up 100 points against, this is a Division I opponent. Yes. Like this is not you're playing some NAIA, Life Pacific, or whatever it may be, like a layup, something that's supposed to be a layup type of game.
Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Right, you know.
That I know everybody loves when we used to play that.
But like this isn't supposed to be that. This is an East Texas A&M team who, I mean, they play fast, they play physical. I don't think they'll be all that good, but I don't think they'll be horrific this season. Like, you can see that they have pieces.
Yeah.
And Hawaii, to their credit,
they were making more of the highlight reel plays before Hawaii started.
Yeah. And to their credit, Hawaii's defense's credit, they shut down the main three-point shooter for the Lions, and that was a big test for East Texas A&M that they just couldn't ultimately pass. Hawaii did a nice job defending. Dre Bullock, I do want to talk about a little bit more where, you know, yeah, the dunks are fun. They are super exciting, and he's so athletic. But last night, what's so impressive about him is when he gets downhill, his athleticism takes over. His athleticism in or defensively as well. We started to see last night 4 steals as well. He gets in on the glass. He had 7 rebounds, also 4 assists. Like, he's doing a little bit of everything. And as you said, he doesn't even look like he's fully comfortable yet. Mm-hmm. So that makes me excited to how high can this guy's ceiling actually be once he gets comfortable, once they get the actual chemistry that they want going forward, and once they get into conference play. It's going to be important that he is that type of guy and that you do have the Utah guys continuing to look as good as they have because, I mean, this team was hyped up to be a top 3 team in the conference going on in. They look the part so far.
Yeah, it's been very fun to watch. And I want to also shout out some of the new faces that we got to see check in. We got to see AJ Economo, and that's kind of the good thing, right? When these teams have such a significant lead, they can kind of throw in a lot of the reserves that we likely won't see if there are any close games. So AJ got to go in there. We saw Hunter Carter go in there. He did put Hawaii over the top of and to get to that 100 mark because of a free throw.
Woo.
Missed one of them, but that's okay. And he turned over the ball a few times, but I did like, and again, he's first collegiate game, true freshman. So
welcome to the big leagues, kid.
And then it was kind of cute. Yeah, my best friend Todd Gurley. We were all like, we were all chuckling, not in a bad way. Please, Hunter, don't take this anyway because we've all been there as athletes when we get the
especially you and
the
Todd.
Jitters. Yeah. Me and Todd totally at the same level in our professional career.
Well, you guys both played college sports.
That's true.
So you had to make debuts at some point. So I'm sure he remembers being super nervous his first time stepping on the gridiron at the college level, and I'm sure you were super nervous. So
thanks for putting that out.
Everybody gets it.
So Todd, because Hunter Carter took like a 3-point shot right in front of us, and kudos to Hunter for not being afraid to take that shot. He was open.
As soon as it left his hand, I was like, oh, bang!
Yeah. And then it was one that hit the side of the backboard, and Todd Gurley looked at us. He's like we're all chuckling, but again, in an endearing way, not in a it's like
it's a welcome
so
to college moment.
Hey, it's his first it's his first shot. He went for the 3. I love the courage to go out there and take it. did not end up near close to, I'm sure, how he envisioned it going off his hand. But kudos that he wasn't afraid to take that shot. And more importantly, on a positive note, when I saw him out there, and you spoke very highly of him when he committed to the University of Hawai'i, but seeing the physicality that he brings as a true freshman, right? He's a lot bigger and more filled out than we saw from like Aaron Hunkin-Clater last year, right? He just is more of a physical, athletic presence as a true freshman. And I think that's the main thing I wanted to point out for fans is that, wow, he is someone that is going to be special down the stretch once he gets his sea legs and he recovers and all of that stuff. So I thought it was awesome that Hawaii was able to build this big lead where we got to see Hunter Carter go in, get like a little bit of those jitters out, and then be able to get to that 100 mark by making a free throw. Yay! Woo! And then AJ Economo, someone that will be deep down there on the bench, but also getting an opportunity to play in there, which it'll be nice to see if this Hawaii team can be dominant. And there's a bunch of opportunities to dominate teams and to maybe see some of these guys that are able to get into the game.
Yeah, I mean, this was a really fun night. 11 of the 12 players who played scored, and the only one who didn't was Aaron Hunkin-Clater, who didn't necessarily take a ton of shots and dealt with some foul trouble throughout the entirety of the night. It felt like he had 2 fouls by the moment I sat down in my media chair, and then when he came back in, it felt like he picked up his 3rd foul right away, and it was a tough night. And as a point guard, I've had those nights, so they happen sometimes. Overall, a really fun time. Nice to see the guys towards the end of the bench get an opportunity as well to go out and get extended playing time. And to build off your point with Hunter Carter, yeah, I mean, physically, the kid is ready. You look at him and you're like, yep, that is a Division I college basketball player. He's 6'5". He's already like 190 pounds. He was making some really nice moves. He just wasn't finishing them. And that happens. You know, especially in your first game when you've jumped up to a new level. So once he gets adjusted to the pace, once he gets adjusted to everybody being the same size as him and all of these different things, his basketball IQ will show through. His skill will show through. And by conference play, it wouldn't surprise me if he is able to be a somewhat contributing member of the rotation on any given night.
All right, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we will continue a little bit more of our basketball conversation and let you hear a snippet of what head coach Eran Ganat had to say in the postgame. We'll be right back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den. Kule Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network with our pom-pom party on this Victory Monday on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network and streaming live on our YouTube channel. So thank you guys for all hanging out with us as we are just celebrating a ton of wins from obviously UH and then our NFL teams. It was a really fun weekend. Now this is very rare, so we are going to enjoy it while we can. But it feels so good. And fortunately, our men's basketball team did not mess it up because we were worried. There were too many stars aligning with all of the wins.
Too many good things happened.
Rainbow Wahine volleyball starting things off on Friday, coming out with that win. That dominant win for football over San Diego State on Saturday. Women's volleyball winning. Well, before women's volleyball won, we had our NFL teams that all went undefeated on NFL Sunday. Then women's volleyball won, and we were like, oh, and then Michael found the tripod that he's been looking for. So there were so many things that were happening. It was like, is this too good to be true? What's going to happen in this men's basketball game? How are they going to mess this up? Again, no actual basketball analysis in my mind did I think that this men's team would lose to East Texas A&M. But wonky things happen in sports, and especially when you are on this high of so many wins, you're like, there's no way. The sports gods are just going to be like, how about I do this and knock you back down? But it feels good. They came out with a good win. They did not let us down and were able to beat a team they should have beat, but just dominate, and 100 points put on East Texas A&M, 100-74 last night.
Well, I mean, this was a conversation, actually, funny enough, that I was having with you about the Knicks, but we can also kind of use it for Hawaii basketball, where how many times last season were there games that we felt like Hawaii should have dominated in? Teams that they should have beat the life out of or had a easy cruise to a victory or whatever, and they struggled. You know, they had to fight tooth and nail for a victory. They had to really grind out against the team that just didn't have as much talent as they did. There is something to say about taking care of business in the way that they did, in the way that you're supposed to, in that when you are supposed to show that you are not just better than a team, but leagues above a team or levels above a team. Hawaii did that last night, and that was impressive. And I'll also say this, it's an awkward time to play. Sunday night at 8 p.m. Hawaii time, it's, for a lot of these guys, this is later than they've ever played in their lives. Literally ever. For
Itamu, it's like...
for all of them, it's...
midnight?
I was going to say, at least midnight.
Yeah.
It's in Itamu. Jeez, I'm crow. I thought about that earlier, too.
I mean, because that's what it's on the scoreboard, too.
Yeah.
Itamu.
And by the way, love it, because it helped me save a lot of characters in my tweets for coverage of the game. But in general, I do think that there is something to be said about the team actually taking care of business the way that fans expected them to, right? Because when you see East Texas A&M on the schedule, your thought is, oh, we should beat them. This should be an easy win, right? Fair or not, that's the thought. Mm-hmm. It's nice to actually just be proven right and be like, oh, it was an easy win. They were up 33 in this game at one point. They had 8 minutes of garbage time, and realistically, it was like 12 minutes of garbage time where they just kind of let anybody who wanted time go into the game. They're like, oh, you guys want to play together? Sure, here you go. And then eventually they just rotated in. It was like AJ, Hunter Carter, Yassine Toomey,
Jalen
Myers. I don't even remember the other one.
Yeah, and like you said, they got significant playing time, especially guys like AJ and Hunter Carter, because you look at the final box, and AJ got 7 minutes, Hunter Carter got 6. Usually for games that are dominant, it's like 1, maybe 2 minutes of play.
A couple minutes right at the end.
Yeah, but kudos that they were able to get in there. All right, just real quick, here's about a little bit more than a minute or so of what head coach Eran Ganot had to say following that win.
First, I want to thank our administration, Rich and his team. I know it was a busy week. It's been a busy day. You know, we've had some obstacles with our scheduling efforts, as we've talked about, and obviously had to play a game Sunday at 8, which isn't ideal. And then have a volleyball match before us. So I know the efforts of our admin and Rich and his team, and great job by Timmy and his boys and Robin and her team. And I'm glad we finished it out right. But I know there's a lot of sacrifices to make that happen, and you guys saw it turning the floor and things like that. So I want to first thank them. I want to give a lot of respect for East Texas and their staff. Obviously, they came here and beat us a couple years ago. I thought we came in with the right approach, try to get better in a quick turnaround. Thank our fans for coming in that late slot there. I'm really happy for our guys. Thought the first half, we knew it was going to be a war and very physical, but we weren't going to win the physical battle if we were going to be on our heels. So I loved how we squared up, how we set screens, how we got into the line. You could see as we're figuring things out offensively, we've had to try to find a rhythm when you have guys in and out. Usually it's effective the most on the offensive end. While we're doing that, we've challenged our guys to really lock in defensively and on the glass. And I think even the defensive numbers today are misleading. We had some lapses late, but there was a flow if you were watching, and they're really good offensively. You could see our potential defensively. We missed some shots, open shots early, missed some shots obviously at the rim. We were tough at the line. But at the end of the first half and most of the second, you could see the balance on both ends, and that's what I was really pleased with. It was definitely team basketball on both ends, which created the separation.
And that was UH men's basketball head coach Eran Ganot following last night's 100-74 win over East Texas A&M. And like you mentioned, like you said, he acknowledged it. We all saw it. It was a bit sus to start off the game and the missed free throws. But as he said,
tough at the line is a way to put it.
As we were talking about in the first segment, they started to kind of find their rhythm and find their flow once, like Paul mentioned. And there is some truth to this. There's a lot of truth to it when the whistles started to be called a little less and you get this team really running. But I think that's what's exciting for a lot of fans is because some of the criticism, and I understand it, against Coach Ganot is that it was kind of like a boring style of basketball, right? So I think fans, this is almost like a breath of fresh air because this team right now has been able to go out there and play some exciting basketball. Again, putting up a fight at Oregon, and then for them to have this performance against East Texas A&M and score 100 points. But just the way that they did it, you can tell they're going to be a lot more fun to watch for a lot of those people who did have those criticisms about the style of basketball that we were seeing for this UH men's team. So I think, again, we'll always say this in the beginning of the season, barring any injuries, any additional injuries, that is, this is going to be a very fun team to watch, especially considering this is the fact that they are not even close to what they can be because we don't know what the I don't want to say permanent rotation because in basketball you're switching each other out, but kind of your main rotations are. They still look like they're trying different things out.
So much to figure out.
Clearly, things will change also with matchups depending on who they play, but there is so much to figure out, and the fact that they are already putting forth this exciting style of basketball, I think, is really good for the fans to come out and watch.
I mean, Giedis is barely a month into actually playing because he missed some time during the preseason. Aaron Hunkin-Clater has been back on the floor for like 2 weeks. He's only going to get better. I just talked about how Dre Bullock, by conference play, I think, could be a superstar for this team. Hunter Erickson looked phenomenal last night and is only going to, this team is so exciting. I'm very, very interested to see where they can go. One more thing I want to say, by the way, about East Texas A&M. The reason I keep bringing up the 100 points is just because, this is not a bad defensive team. Because they went to New Mexico before this. A Mountain West team now. I know, Mountain West, sorry, not a great start to the college basketball season for the
Canyon loss.
Yeah, it's not been great. But New Mexico, and we had a lot of respect for their head coach Eric Olin, who obviously led UC San Diego last year and the previous few seasons. And New Mexico put up 76. It was 76-54. This was a very comparable victory for Hawaii to the team or a team in a conference that you are moving to next year, right? And I think there is a lot to be said about this performance for Hawaii and where they can grow from here. By the way, we're going to get to see how much they're going to grow and how fast they're going to grow because there are a lot of games coming up in the near future, including 3 more to end out this week.
Yeah, already in action. If you guys didn't make it out yesterday, now you have normal scheduled time games. Wednesday already is the next game for the Rainbow Warriors in the Outrigger Rainbow Classic. So Wednesday they play Mississippi Valley State. 7 o'clock p.m. Friday, they play Manhattan. And then Saturday, they play Utah Tech. All those games at 7 o'clock p.m. at Benko Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. And then next week, as we know, they have that game against Arizona State. We are working on, for everyone going to Vegas, we're working on kind of a watch party. So if you guys are heading to Vegas and you want to come and watch the Arizona State UH game with us, it's going to be at 9 o'clock Vegas time, and we'll be watching it in Circa Resort and Casino. So we'll get you more information once we kind of get things solidified. But if you want to kind of jot that down on your calendar for everyone going to Vegas, then come watch that game with us. And then the following Monday, you got HPU. They're home for a while. Before we go to break, though, we did get some text. Someone texting in, how did Todd Gurley become such a Aina? When did this happen? I know he's a supporter of UH Sports. How did this come about? Yeah, you guys have heard us mentioning Todd Gurley a lot. And in case you're wondering, he was there, a former or early and head coach Iran Ganat with the, double shakas there. And he was having a good time. Got a chance to sit next to him during the game. And yeah, we're besties now. So me and Todd Gurley, like you said, we're the same. We're totally the same caliber of athlete, that is. So, yes, he was there. And to answer your question specifically, though, shout out to Jeff at Outrigger Resort and Casino. I think they have some kind of like partnership or sponsorship with Todd Gurley. So it's Outrigger that will bring Todd Gurley out. He's thrown out the first pitch for baseball before.
I know
he was here for football. And then
I would assume he'd be here then for
basketball.
this upcoming weekend for the Outrigger Rainbow Classic, right?
Potentially, maybe staying that long. That's probably why
that feels
right?
like it would make sense.
Yeah.
He can like give out the trophy at the end or something.
Yeah, so that's basically why Todd Gurley is a UH supporter. And yeah, has been out. I mean, it was funny because I wish we could have gotten like because Patty Mills was in attendance and like we just had greatness in the house.
Dude, imagine
Patty Mills was there, Todd Gurley. Like, man, like that's pretty darn cool that they were out there.
Keep sitting up, by the way, like in the regular people seats.
Yeah, this time he wasn't. We were having a hard time finding him because before when he was at the women's game, he was sitting like kind of like where Barbie them sit.
Yeah.
And then last night I looked back there and he wasn't there, but he was sitting like behind the basket area, next to like the Giovanni Pastrami area, and where like the men's volleyball players were, women's volleyball players were. So that was also the cool kids section because there was all of those really good athletes there, along with Patty Mills.
The men's volleyball and women's volleyball players are tall enough to make an NBA player feel like he's just hanging out with regular people, the regular crowd. So.
That is true. All right, one more question before we go to break. Let's see. That was a pretty impressive showing by men's basketball team. Do you know why no names on jerseys? Honestly, I don't. But I can go ask. I don't know if you have an inclination as to why no names on the jerseys. I don't know if it has to do with a Nike thing, and we mentioned the Nike deal got done late, and maybe they just didn't have a chance to stitch them on. Yada yada yada.
That would be my
I don't know.
theory. Like I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some digging as well. But my theory would just be, and it's kind of the same reason as why the Tapa jerseys came in so late for them as well, where people were asking like, why are these so basic during the exhibition games?
Yeah.
I would imagine it probably has something to do with that side where they might have, I don't want to say rushed the production, but they might have sped up the production and that leaves off last names. I really don't know. That would be my theory.
Yeah,
I guess.
Because as we mentioned, right, like Gitas being kind of a late addition,
yes.
so you want to make sure all the players have names on their jerseys at that point. So, but we'll try to effort finding that out for you. Thank you for texting in.
I can't imagine it's too hard to get them on there, though.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll get back into more UH football once again. Again, a Monday morning party. We'll be right back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den. Ku'ule Agbayani and Paul Brecht
I didn't mean to
waving
press it
around
up,
the
sorry.
pom-pom. It's okay. You're like trying to keep the party going.
Apparently.
I get it. We first had the pom-pom hair. Now he's really like twirling it around there. Yeah, there. Lasso pom-pom. That's it. And why not? I mean, we're going to get back into our UH football conversation,
Lasso.
right?
Call me
Like,
Paul Lasso.
my goodness, like Hawaii football with that another. We were talking about a dominant performance by the men's basketball team, dominant performance by the UH football team. We talked extensively about it, heard from Coach Timmy in hour number 1. We also, on our YouTube channel, we do have the full post game that features Coach Timmy along with Jackson Harris and Peter Manu Ma that I really encourage you guys to check out because there is some really good quotes and stuff from both of those players. Again, Jackson Harris having a huge game. And
Poor
he
Jackson. He was so cold in the post
Oh, I
game.
know. He was like, and then I heard you guys at the end like, yeah, let him go already. Just go get warm.
Up, bro. Oh, he was awesome.
So good.
For as cold as he was in the post game, that was as hot as he was on the field. Just a phenomenal performance, and what has been just a scorching hot streak for Jackson Harris ever since he's come back healthy for the Rainbow Warriors.
Yeah, and a good kudos to him because I think it was Christian Shimabuku of Aloha State Daily that asked the question about, losing playing time at Stanford and deciding to transfer here to Hawaii and what that means. And he just, it appreciates, like, as Coach Sheffield said it all the time, and we continue to say it, the land of opportunity, right? Like, especially, receivers. Any of you good receivers out there, come to Hawaii because you clearly see this offense and a quarterback that can get you the rock and is so accurate and is so consistent that you will get the football if you're a receiver on this team. Now, we won't have maybe like over 1,000 yards, but at least the ball's going to get spread around based on who they are playing because we just saw Pofele was the one to get, the 3 touchdowns in just the other game, right? Like, the ball's going to get spread around like this, and it can be any receiver's day at any game. But Jackson Harris proving that he made the right decision to come here to the University of Hawaii, and because what a performance by him. And he's been consistent. He's had a lot of other big games as well, so happy for that guy because, as you mentioned, he was so good in the post game, and even though he was cold, but he's just
poor guy.
Jack as he goes by.
Dude, first off, really, really nice guy.
Mhm.
You can see why everybody took to him right away, on the team, because all throughout the spring, all throughout the summer, all you heard was like, this guy's the steal of the portal. He's awesome. Micah hasn't shut up about him since they got him. I love it. Those two seem like connected at the hip. He's been awesome. 10 touchdowns now on the year, over 700 yards. And like you said, just because he's been phenomenal hasn't meant that other players haven't gotten opportunities. 5 different guys with 25 or more receptions this season for the Rainbow Warriors, and that's including missing some games due to injury. Nick Senecal's not even one of those players. He's only at 20 because he missed, a third of the season.
Yeah.
So this has been such a productive year in the offense. It's just another example of what you can do if you come to Hawaii as a skill position player and how dynamic, potent this offense can be. It's impressive to see. It's been fun to watch. And now that it's clicking on all cylinders, it's one of those, we started the year off like, oh, maybe we were a little too high on the offense. Now we've gotten to the point of like, oh, no, this was what we expected the whole time. And now the defense is the one that I'm like, oh my God. And obviously we talked about the blip on the radar against San Jose State. Not a fun game, whatever, blah, 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 blah.
But San Jose State lost to Air Force this weekend.
Correct.
What in the actual...
But that's the Mountain West at this point where, anybody on any given weekend can beat literally anybody, which is why, by the way, I keep bringing up the point that the Mountain West Championship hopes for Hawaii are more than alive now after this victory if they keep on winning. But no, I want to give credit to the defense because, much maligned throughout the week, and deservedly so because it was their worst performance of the season against San Jose State. Just came out, ears pinned back, hair on fire. The defensive line showed I think Peter said it, or no, was it Jackson? one of them said, I call them the best in the Mountain West. It was Peter.
Yeah.
Because they are. I mean, they lead the conference in sacks. Jackie Johnson Jackie Johnson III picks up his 7th sack of the season, his conference leading 7th sack of the season as he continues another breakout year for the Rainbow Warriors. You have 2 fumbles, which a little bit of luck, but nonetheless, you got to fall on top of them. A couple of interceptions as well, puts you up to 7 picks now for the year, right on that Paul's Parlor line. So it was a really impressive performance by a defense that has shown they have this in them, but had not shown the consistency necessarily. If that's the defense that Hawaii's going to get over the final month of the year, man, oh man, are they a scary team to face, regardless of who you are.
Yeah, and Hawaii football put it true. Also, credit to going back and talking about the guys in the trenches, the offensive line. Again, Micah Alihado only sacked twice when there was a potential future NFL prospect at the edge there for San Diego State and Trey White. He felt like he was non-existent in this game. So
after the first 2 series, San Diego State's pass rush was non-existent.
That's why. So I want to give a huge shout out to those guys on the offensive line and to Micah Alihado. And we mentioned this last week. Trey White was coming on the right side, and it's a better advantage for a lefty quarterback. I thought they would have maybe moved him over to come over on the blind side, but they kind of kept him coming to Micah's front side, which that helps. And Micah's processing is incredible. We talked about that before. But this offensive line, keeping Micah Alihado clean, considering that they do have a very tough defensive line, tough defense all around. And that's why, even though we talk about Chris Johnson being out, what those guys in the trenches
still
were able to do.
More than enough talent.
Yeah, they are still, like, when we talk about Chris Johnson and Trey White, that's NFL caliber talent. Like, it's rare. But the rest of the defense has legitimate top D1 type of talent on their defense. So we can't just fall on the excuse, and I know we're not.
We remember just Malachi
about Chris
Finau.
Johnson being out.
Finau now with San Diego State, and even he was kind of neutralized in this game. It just overall the trench play was phenomenal, and I don't think it's an accident, by the way, that you've seen such a step up on both sides this year of the trenches for Hawaii, where the offensive line, this is the best the offensive line has played since I have been here, and I believe in the Timmy Chang era. I don't think that's unfair to say or even close. I think it's honestly probably obvious to say. That's probably a good reason for that is probably because they are going against potentially the best D-line in the Mountain West every single day in practice and have been for the last, 6 months? That's pretty darn good practice when you have to go against Dejon Benton every single day, Jackie Johnson III every single day. You have to go against Kaeo Akana. You have to go against all of these different high-level, talented defensive linemen who just keep on coming in waves. You're pretty prepared for anything that's thrown at you. So I do think the trench play this year, it's not a coincidence how great it's been and why Hawaii has been so successful.
Yeah, but what a fun game for everybody to watch. And now we have to wait another 2 weeks to see the next game at UNLV.
We get to celebrate this win for 2 weeks.
It's okay. And we got to keep track of what's happening in the Mountain West this week. Again, Boise State and San Diego State go against each other this week. So we're probably pulling for Boise State just so that San Diego State has a second loss in the Mountain West Conference to kind of pull things a little bit more even. And again, wanting Hawaii to win out and be in charge of their own destiny. But that's a major game that I know a lot of Hawaii fans will look out for. By the way, shout out, I want to share a couple of the posts that I put out there because it was kind of funny because the new AP Top 25 came out. We know San Diego State was receiving votes, and I think they still did also after this.
Where are our votes?
So that's why I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't. I mean, we didn't just barely beat the Aztecs. It was pure domination. And so I kind of tweeted that because we know that Cal beat a nationally ranked Louisville team. So Hawaii beat San Diego State. San Diego State had shut out Cal earlier in the season. And then Jaren Keave, Sangapolu Tele, and Cal beat a nationally ranked Louisville in overtime this weekend. So by, transitive property, Hawaii is better than Louisville, and I had posted, I reposted the top 25, and I was like, rank us, you cowards.
Yeah.
Because, come on. And it's like, I think it says a lot when you are starting to play your best football down the stretch. Like, every team gets better. So for Hawaii to be this dominant, like, and Micah Alihado and this offense clicking, and apparently he's not even 100% in his opinion to like Micah Alihado is.
Oh.
It's like, what?
I mean, I agree. I think he still can be better. That's the funniest part of it all.
Well, just health-wise, he's like, I guess he's not technically 100%.
Have you seen some of the hits he's taken this year?
About that ankle. That's so crazy. But yeah,
there was one early in this game where I was like, oh, please get up.
I'm like, rank us, you cowards. But also more importantly, that next week in Las Vegas, thank you to Hawaii Football. I tweeted this too. Shout out to Timmy Chang for liking my tweet. That I'm looking forward to cash in those tickets next week because Hawaii, that 7th win of the season, puts them over the total that I got in for my futures bet of Hawaii over 6 wins. So cash that one, and I had put money on Hawaii, even money on Hawaii to beat Stanford on the money line, and cash that one. So I'm already starting in a net positive when I go to Las Vegas. Woohoo!
As long as you don't end in a negative, I mean, that's pretty good. Also, you can end in a negative if Hawaii comes home with a win.
Yeah, that's fine.
By the way, if Hawaii comes home with a win, I don't think you're going home with a negative anyway. Anyway, that's
I'm trying to think. Might have to like
emotional bad or hedge.
Well, this is kind of the fun emotional hedge because it's when you could win both. I like these games because Hawaii will likely be the favorite? Question mark.
No
Actually,
idea.
I don't know. But we won't know until next week. So
I'd probably take UNLV minus 2.5 if I had to.
Yeah.
In terms of guessing what the line's going to be to open up.
So that's what I mean. Like, depending on how big the spread is, if Hawaii is the favorite, then this is like the better emotional hedge because you could potentially win both if UNLV is getting points. So it's like you can put money on UNLV and then Hawaii could win and UNLV could still cover. So it's a double win. Either way, it's kind of a double win all around.
I hope we see another 38-6 victory for Hawaii, if I'm being honest with you. I don't care
nice.
about covering at all for UNLV. Hope it's a horrible day for them.
Oh, my gosh. It's a party. We're in Las Vegas.
I'm trying to keep
partying.
partying.
It's a party. Purposely booked my flight back on Sunday just in case Saturday is a recovery.
Just in case.
We need a whole day to, at my anti-status age, we need a whole day to recover from the party time. We've got to take a break. We'll be back and have just a couple of minutes to close it out here on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den. Ku'ule Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network. We're having way too fun of a party. I don't know if you can have way too much more fun of a party celebrating wins. I want to do it too. Okay, there we go. Okay, I got my pom-pom hair down too. I was able to stick it into my hat there. Woo!
I was trying to flip
It's not as cool as yours was, but at least I kind of got something going on.
Your hat, like, that's the only thing that makes it tough for you. But you have a cool hat. I don't have a cool hat. Like, I had to. Plus,
put it in the headphones.
There we go. So it's like this. I tried to put it in the front so I could do like the rock star like hair flip, and I couldn't do it. So it's like, now I got.
Oh, there we go. Now it's flowing.
Now we've got the flow, just like we're in a flow state for Hawaii athletics. What a weekend it was, Koo. Oh my God. I can't believe the show is basically over.
Oh yeah.
Well, I can because we had so much to talk about. We barely even touched on Rainbow Wahine volleyball.
I know. Them keeping their hopes alive in the Big West Conference championship in the postseason.
HBU continues.
Still got a long way to go. But again, the Rainbow Wahine volleyball team looking good over the weekend, able to sweep CSUN in a game in which they got back because they had gotten swept by CSUN on the road and earlier in the Big West Conference season. And then no surprise, the game that kind of seemed like it would be the game that they should win, and they did. They beat Cal State Bakersfield in 4. So the Rainbow Wahine, they are at that last but not least spot to make it into the Big West Conference tournament championships. And we talked about this just like we were just mentioning with football. Playing your best down the stretch is all you need to ask for, and that's what Hawaii, the Rainbow Wahine anyways, looked like this past weekend. Again, only dropping one set in those 2 games here at home, especially being able to dominate CSUN, that like the team that dominated them earlier. And so very impressive. 4 more matches to go for the Rainbow Wahine. They go back on the road and play UC Santa Barbara and Cal Poly, and then they host UC San Diego and Long Beach State on senior night. So got to take care of business, but again, going on the road, playing one of the top teams, actually both the top teams here with Cal Poly especially. So we will see how they fare, but the fact that they, again, taking care of business when they should here at home, keeping their hopes alive into the Big West Conference tournament. And maybe this is the turning point, that this is when they will start to really turn it on with all of the talent that they lost, for them to be able to sneak in there. And once you get in, Anything can happen.
Well, just punch your ticket.
How wild would that be for this Rainbow Wahine team? But even though it doesn't seem so far-fetched,
but it wouldn't be the craziest thing that's happened.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, it really would be, I don't know, a very, very nice job by them to at least give themselves a puncher's chance. It's all you can ask for. And with a young team, I mean, the postseason's already started for them. This is basically playoff.
Oh, we got it. Sorry, I just saw this new chat. Oh, shoot. I wish I saw this earlier because we got to go. But I saw a new guy, a person here, Ron Y808, said, off topic, but on third down, the stadium needs to play more inspiring music or sounds to pump up the fans to make more noise. That's why every time we talk about it, I'm like, get loud on third down. But we agree with you because they try to, like,
I can pass along that message.
Yeah. But thank you guys for joining us. We're just about out of time. Shout out Alex and Adelaide. Got a funny story for you, Alex, actually. But dang it. We ran out of time. We got to go. For Paul Brecht, I'm Ku'ule Agbayani. Mahalo for listening and watching. It's been Wake Up in the Den. Bye.